When you bring your child home for the first time, you want a baby monitor you can trust. When you choose Stork, you choose technology trusted to monitor 10 million babies in hospitals every year. Stork continuously tracks your baby's pulse rate, oxygen saturation, and temperature. Visit MassimoStork.com to learn more. Stork, a revolutionary baby monitor, is born.
Stork is not a medical device. Read and understand all product labeling. Massimo data on file.
Moms and dads, I bet you can relate to this email. Kirk, my son is just like the kids you described in your podcast. He comes home feeling defeated after school, feeling like he isn't smart. But I got him Crunch Labs and he loves it. Building the new toy and watching Mark Rober makes him feel smart. And then he explains, talking a million miles a minute, like our kids do, all the cool science facts he's learned. It's like I get my real kid back when he's building his Crunch Labs toy. And that is exactly why I was so psyched when my niece first told me how her son loves Crunch Lab. Confession, this is the one sponsor I wanted more than any other because it's such a perfect fit for our kids. So go to crunchlabs.com/calm and you'll see why. Crunch Labs is a STEM monthly subscription build box for kids. Your kids get a really fun toy in the mail every month. And what kid doesn't love that? And then they put it together by watching a step-by-step video from former NASA engineer Mark Rober, where he teaches all the cool physics that make the toy work. Mark's passion is helping kids think like engineers. And this helps your kids develop resilience and problem-solving skills while having a ton of fun. Get your kids something they will actually love, use, and look forward to getting all throughout the coming year. Build your child's confidence now. Visit crunchlabs.com/calm and get your kids Crunch Labs today.
Hey everybody, this is Kirk Martin, founder of Celebrate Calm. Just wanted you to know this is my 5th try at doing a Father's Day message. I've recorded 4 other ones and I keep sending them to my son Casey. I'm like, I got it this time. And I'll think about it. I'll be like, no, it's not just right, because the Father's Day thing is a big deal to me. And by the way, this will apply to moms too, but it really is geared a little bit more toward dads. So moms, if you're listening, send this link to your husband because I think they'll find it helpful. It's important because we devalue dads in our society. And most of the dads that are on TV are displayed as kind of like idiots, right? And we're irreplaceable. I want you to know this, Dad. You are irreplaceable. You can be replaced at your job, but you cannot be replaced in your home. There's something about a dad that is extremely important in the life of a child, whether it's a son or a daughter. So this is important. I wanted to get this right. I wanted my tone to be right. And it's personal to me because I didn't really have a great dad. My dad, I think, did the best that he could, but he just didn't have a lot of tools. He was career military. He was known in our home as the Colonel. So it was a ton of fun growing up, as you can imagine. And he had 4 sons. But my dad, all he knew was yelling and screaming, kind of like my way or the highway approach. It was more of a fear and intimidation kind of approach. And, we didn't really respect my dad. We feared my dad. And I don't think that's what we want, right? Because I believe that good discipline, and I love good, firm discipline, good discipline should always lead you to a closer, more trusting relationship with your child. So guys, if your discipline is not doing that, then something's off, right? It's not supposed to be like, I just walk in, what I tell them to do, that's what they're supposed to do. It's not how relationships work. And so I know that I grew up like that. So guess what happened? My brothers and I, we all grew up and we replicated the same pattern that my dad gave us. That's all his dad knew. That's what we ended up knowing. So we come home from work and our wives like, kids, pick up the Legos. Dad's coming home. He can't handle it when there's a mess on the floor. Right now, our wives are having to manage our emotions for us and everybody's walking on eggshells wondering, when are we going to blow up? And so to their credit, each of my brothers, to a different degree, ended up changing themselves. We changed ourselves and we broke that pattern, that generational pattern that we got from our father. And it's a beautiful, beautiful thing because you have the power to literally create a new family tree so that your kids don't grow up doing the same things that you did, right? And I know a lot of it is I have control issues. I need a lot of order. Some of you, it's perfectionism. You've got a lot of anxiety, and you need things to be just so, and your child's not going to do that. And so to be honest, I didn't like my son when he was little. Some of you know my son, Casey. If you need anything from us, by the way, that's who you're going to contact. He's 26 now. But contact Casey. It's CASEY at celebratecalm.com, and he'll help you out with anything that you need. But I didn't like Casey when he was little. You know why? Because he didn't listen to me all the time. He gave up too easily, didn't push through, right? He was undisciplined. He wasn't living up to his potential because if he could have applied himself a little bit more, he could have done more. He was too emotional. He had meltdowns all the time. And to be honest, he was just irritating. And I didn't like him as a little kid. And I spent the first 9.5 years of his life trying to change him and who he was until I finally realized I was the one who needed to change. And when I changed myself, it changed our entire relationship. And I will tell you, it was one of the most satisfying, gratifying things in my life is my relationship with Casey, and I almost ruined it. And guys, I don't want you ruining your relationship with your child, because you will regret it. It will be the biggest regret of your entire life if you do that. And I remember telling him all the time, you know what, you're never going to be successful if you can't do this. Why do you have to make everything so difficult? And those things wound kids, right? So I want you to change yourself. I want you to change your perspective. And I will I will give you a warning here, because I've seen this happen. I've just created a new program. It's called the No BS Instruction Manual for Saving Your Relationship with Your Strong-Willed Child. And I created that because I've seen this happen too often, that you have well-meaning good parents. And I would look, even when I was in my way or the highway approach kind of mode, I was a good guy. And I was a good dad. I love my son, right? But good, well-meaning parents of strong-willed children often destroy their relationship with those kids, because you end up being on all the time. It's never good enough for you. And you misunderstand your child and his motives. And eventually this child is going to shut down on you. And he's going to shut down. He's going to be like, screw you. I don't care what you say. And I don't blame the child, because oftentimes we incite these kids. So I want you to take this seriously. And I want you to listen. I want you to get the program, because I take you through 25 specific action steps that will drastically change your relationship with this child. You can get it either by emailing my son, Casey, celebratecalm.com, or go to our website, celebratecalm.com /NOBS, like no BS. And it's a phenomenal program, and it will change things. I guarantee you it will. But here's what I want you to know, and what I know about men. Men want two things. One, from our kids, we want respect. We want our kids to respect us. And I think the deeper part of that is we want to be able to pass along our wisdom, because, look, we're guys. We've worked hard in life. We know what it takes to be successful, and we don't want our kids growing up and making the same mistakes. So we want to impart this wisdom as part of our legacy. We want to teach our kids things. And I get that. But what happens is, if you're overbearing and nothing's ever good enough for you, and your kids can't trust you, they won't listen to you, right? Does that make sense? They won't listen. So the very thing you want to impart, they will actually reject, because they don't really respect you. They fear you. And we don't want that to happen. And I will tell you, if you ask my son, if you want to email him or call him sometime, ask him about me, and he'll say, it's not the fact that my dad was successful in the corporate world or he started on his business that he's successful. My son respects me because he saw me change right in front of him. Another thing guys want, if you're married, you want your wife to want you. Look, guys, we like money, and we like sex, and we like that. And I'm not going to. I hate in our current way that we are in society. You have to be so careful of what you say. It's just the truth. We want that. And I guarantee you, men, if you want your wife to be more intimate with you, you've got to change some things, right? If you learn how to de-escalate situations in your home so that your wife doesn't have to walk on eggshells wondering what you're going to be like when you come home from work, right? If you can de-escalate with that upset child instead of escalating with, you know what, how many times do I have to tell you? You know, one more word, man, keep it up, keep it up. You know what? You keep talking, you're going to lose everything you want, right? That's escalating things with our kids. But if you learn how when that child is upset to come and say, oh, I can tell you're frustrated right now. Listen, I'm going to go grab a football and go outside. You want to come play catch with me? You want to build with Legos? You want to come help me build with something in the garage? Listen, I'm going to go walk the dogs. Why don't you come walk with me? I'll help you out with whatever you're struggling with. Right? If you can start to lead your kids with calm confidence, they'll follow you. We want to be the leaders in the home. Leaders lead by being cool and calm under pressure. That's why the best platoon captain is the guy who, when the bullets start flying, he's not like, oh my gosh, they're shooting at us. No, you follow the platoon captain because when the bullets start flying, that guy leads by example, not by freaking out. You follow that quarterback. The reason good teams win is because they usually have a quarterback who in the fourth quarter, when you're losing, leads his team back to victory because he doesn't freak out at the end. He stays cool and calm under pressure. And that's the kind of guy I want you to be. But when you start de-escalating those situations and your wife can relax knowing that she's safe with you in the home, she will start going to bed earlier with you, right? And I know that's not all you want. You want the connection. You want to have a good relationship. But I want to make this a little bit fun, and it's also true. You know what? It works when you take the pressure off of your wife, and one night a week you can say, hey, honey, take the night off. Go do whatever you want, right? Go out with the girls. Go sit out in the car. Just be by yourself and read a book, whatever you want. I've got the kids tonight. I'll do homework time. I'll do dinner, bath time, bedtime. I've got it covered. And when your wife knows that she can leave the house and she's not going to come back to World War III, that's when she will want you. And that's when all the relationships in the home, right, get healed up. So, men, you have a choice to make right now. You are justified in feeling frustrated and being disappointed in your kids. They're frustrating and they're disappointing. They're not living up to their potential. You have that choice. You would feel justified in doing the whole, you know what, till the child starts changing, I'm not going to change anything else. But you will take that to your grave and you will regret it. I promise you. Or you can grow up and have a relationship with your child, and your kids need you. They need the dad in the home to be this person. And I will tell you, it is not policies that change or rules that change behavior. Relationships change behavior. You change your relationship with this strong-willed child, he will begin to trust you and respect you. And when he does, he will listen to you and he will come to you for advice. So let me give you a couple examples from on this new No BS program. We have, I did some case studies with families, and that's part of it is saying, well, what do you do when this child is shut down, right? And so, by the way, on this program this week for Father's Day, I'm giving away, we have a special program for dads and husbands, a men's CD program that Casey, my son, and I did, where it's great. It's short and sweet bullet points, tell you exactly what to do with your kids in dozens of situations every day. That will come free when you order this week. No excuses, by the way. Oh, it's expensive. You guys spend money on stuff that's important to you. Your kids and your spouse and your family is important. Invest in it, work in it. I guarantee you it's a lot cheaper than divorce and therapy. So, and you know what else it'll save? It'll save literally thousands of nights throughout your child's life of you and your spouse worrying and lecturing and endless consequences that don't work anyway. So here are a couple examples of things I wanted you to do. I'll give you three. One, let your child teach you something. I know that sounds weird, but we spend our whole lives trying to teach our kids things, right? And what they feel like is they can never live up to your expectations. What is something that your child can actually teach you? Maybe something with electronics. With my son, it was teaching me how to play guitar and teaching me how to do something new, because it breaks that whole cycle of Dad comes into the home and just barks orders and says, you're not doing this right. Here's how you cut the grass. Here's how you do this. Here's how you do this. You can't, I know a dad that does this thing because he was in the Navy, and he's like, oh, Navy amount of water that's allowed in the bathtub is only so many inches or whatever. And it just gets suffocating until your kids can't take it anymore. But when you let them teach you something, something cool happens. Number 2, I want you to bond with your kids over their interests. Dads, it can't be something you're interested in. It has to be something they're interested in. Hard part, you're not going to like what they're interested in. With Casey, here's what really changed our relationship. I went to him, I said, Casey, I want to have time with you every Saturday where we just do something you're interested in. What are you into? And he said, Dad, I love cars. I want to go test drive cars. I was like, seriously? You want me to go to car dealerships every Saturday and act like we're looking for a new car to go test drive? So he goes, yep, that's what I want to do. And for a couple years, I did that with my son. And I have to be honest, I hated it at first. I hate going to car dealerships. I'm not a big car guy. But I will tell you, it was agenda-free time where we didn't talk about his attitude, his grades, his behavior. I just started to enjoy my son again. And looking back, we have so many good memories, so many fun times of places when we took a car out and a guy would say, well, I need to do the test drive with you. And we're like, no, you don't, because we're going to go fast in this car. And I remember I hope you're not offended by this. Please don't be. But we had this guy, it was in Leesburg, Virginia. Casey and I remember it was a Ford dealership. It was a Ford, I forget what it is, one of those fast Ford cars. Anyway, you can tell I'm not a car guy. Anyway, we take it out, and it was an Indian guy. And I said, with all due respect, that's my Ricky Bobby line, probably better if you don't go. He goes, no, it is our policy. We drive. And so Casey and I sit him in the back seat, and here's what we heard the whole time. Oh my, because we went fast. And so we have all of these great memories, but it built something in us. So I encourage you. Third thing, and this we could spend an hour on, is releasing your child from the expectation that he needs to be just like you. And I'll give you an example. When I was a kid, I was a really good athlete. And I kind of a killer instinct, man. I grew up in a neighborhood with all boys, and we were competitive. And so my son's playing ice hockey. And, it costs a lot of money to play ice hockey, and you're investing a lot of time. And so you want your child to work hard and practice and give it his all. And I remember this game. It was in Ashburn, Virginia. I remember exactly where I was on the ice rink. I was on the south end of the ice rink, walking down, watching my son play defense, right? I'm wanting to put kids through the glass and be tough. Kid skates around him, scores a goal, gets past my son, scores a goal, and my son goes up and taps the kid on the butt and is like, hey, nice goal. And I was furious because I wanted him to put his little head through the glass. You don't let another kid score on you. And if he scores, you're not going to pat him on the butt. Next time he comes in the zone, you're going to flatten that kid and let him know you don't score on my goalie. And what I realized in that moment was, that's not who my son is. My son does not have the killer instinct when it comes to sports. It's not who he was. It's not who he is. And as long as I kept up, because every day after he'd get off the ice, I'd be like, we need, if I'm going to pay all this money, you need to start putting in effort. And I'd get on him about all the things he had done wrong because you're not back checking the right way. I don't like the way you're covering. Right? And he eventually shut down because nothing he could do could please me. So I started to change. And after every game, I'd say, hey, Case, good game. Did you have a good time out there? Now, underneath, I was fuming, right? I was like, I need to tell him all the stuff he's doing wrong. But I would compliment him, and then we'd talk about something else. And you know what happened over time? Eventually, Casey looked at me and he said, Dad, I know I need some help out there. Could you let me know what are a couple things that I could start doing differently? Now he's asking me for my help, and he wants my wisdom, and he's opening up to me. And because I changed how I did that, and because I finally released him from the expectation, I eventually told him, Casey, you're not me. You're going to do things differently than I would do them, and I'm okay with that. I will tell you, he's got a killer instinct when it comes to work. I dare, call my son, email him. You will hear from him very, very quickly. He is a hard worker, and he will sit on the phone with you. He is a good listener now. He is a beast of a worker, but he didn't always display that as a kid, and I almost destroyed that. So I want you to start doing this stuff. We will help you. Look, if you get this program, it's called celebratecalm.com /no BS. And look, I know it's irritating you to spend this much time on it, but I mean it. It has the power to change your very relationship with this child that you brought into the world or that you adopted. And it's important. This is more important than anything you're doing in your career, anything else. So I email my son, Casey. Listen to the program as you do. If you have questions, I promise I will walk through this with you. If you're a guy and you email me, I will take time to help you because I want you to have what I have now, which is I have a very gratifying relationship with my son. I talk to Casey almost every day. And you know, when he was a kid, he was irritating, and we didn't have any of the same interests. Now we love history together. We love political stuff together. With all kinds of stuff. He's reading like these Russian writer like Solzhenitsyn, and we're talking about like the dangers of all this philosophical stuff. Anyway, what I'm telling you is that relationship now, we get to joke together. It is an amazing relationship that I almost destroyed, and I don't want you to do the same thing. So if we can help you in any way, email Casey at celebratecalm.com. Call us at 888-506-1871. If I can help you, reach out to me as well. Thank you. You're a good dad. You're a good mom. Thank you for listening to this. And know that you are replaceable at work, but you are not replaceable in the home. So we honor what you do. Thank you, men, by the way, for working so hard. Thank you for sacrificing. Thank you for busting your butt. Thank you. Look, thank you for all those sacrifices you have made over the years that your kids, and maybe your spouse, nobody else notices. Nobody sees it, but I know you've done that, and I appreciate and honor that in you. And if we can help you, let us know.